says I'm live. Okay. It says I'm live on both. That's why I'm confused now. It's saying on live on the other one also. Okay. Hello, good afternoon all. Very sorry, we just had some problem logging into this. So I'm Daniel Williams, and as Leo has put out a poster, yes, I work for a company called Edgeware City. I handle the region. I take care of the business development. Sales is something very close to my heart, so I enjoy working in sales. So that's the background. Very quickly, I'll just give you a brief on what I've been through, what has happened, and however we connect it to the context of the heading that we have. So, see, the important thing that I always believe is at times life doesn't give you a second chance. Thankfully for me, I think I got the second chance, and I think it's a very big blessing that you get. And really, I think somewhere back in 2014, that's when I realized I found out that I had that I that I got into an organ. I realized that I had an organ failure. So yeah, it was really very tough, and people back home were very they were very worried, and they were wondering what next, what is going to happen. Life will not be the same again. Um, life just completely it's going to go for a toss. Whatever we had plans and all that, and yeah, since then I was just thinking, what next? What do we do next? Instead of sitting and moping around, thinking, yes, why me? Why this has happened to me? I just started thinking, what is the next option? So I just got into the next possible options. I found out that either I can live like this quietly without getting a transplant, or I can opt and get a transplant. And probably my life will be slightly better than where I am right now. A lot of discussion after finding this out, I decided, okay, let's undergo the transplant and let's see how life changes. And before that, it was not easy because I kept seeing people when I was in and out of hospital. I kept seeing people when I go for all sorts of tests. I kept seeing people who are all the time looked really sick. People used to look very, what do I say? They look frail. They generally used to look frail, and people are always like, I'm like a sick patient. This is the thing I used to get, and back of my mind, I was very, very troubled. I was wondering, is this what is in store for me? Is this is what I'm going to look at? And I was really confused at that point in time, and I kept thinking, maybe this is what is going to happen. Is this right? Is this wrong? What happens to my future? Will I be able to work? Because I was told there'll be so many restrictions. I cannot lift weights. I cannot I cannot move like a normal human being. I cannot uh, take up a lot of activities, and lots and lots and lots of restrictions that I kept getting. And it was not in a great place to be mentally. And after a point in time, I was a little depressed. I was not very sure whether I should undergo this, or can I just try and live with whatever I can. And but then I realized this is only going to get worse. This is only going to get worse if I leave it. And I started feeling it physically. I was running out of breath. I couldn't manage, and then I decided to take some help. I know that when we think about something mentally, people immediately think it's everyone may not get into a depression, but yes, I did get into a depression, and the moment I realized I was getting into it, I immediately decided to take help. And that's the important thing, people. When you realize you need help, please ask for help. Please don't think you can handle it. At times, asking for help is not your weakness. It will only make you stronger. Once you take help, you will know. You will know that you will go in the right direction. So I did take that help. I approached a therapist. I went and sat with him. I understood what were my weaknesses, why I was feeling vulnerable, and then I decided, yes, let's go ahead with the transplant. I clarified everything that possibly I would have in my mind. I clarified all that and said, let's proceed. And that's when in 2015, March 2015, I underwent a transplant. Uh, thankfully for me, my mother decided to be the donor. Uh, though she's old, I kept telling her, no, let's not do it this way. She said, no, whatever happens, I'll be the only one to donate. I will not wait for you to take from a cadaver. A cadaver is someone who passes away in a road accident. She was pretty staunch. She said, no, come what may, I will be the one to donate for my son. And seeing all that, you take great strength from all that. You see that and you say, yes. When you come back stronger. And when I decided to get operated, finally, just 2 days before the operation, I heard my cousin sister, she's like my kid sister. She came and said, Anna, you could have told me, I would have donated. Seeing all the love and all the positive energy that you had, my boss who was there, he had no reason to come, but then he flew down. He flew down, and this is all at his own expense. He flew down and he stood with me in the hospital. He was there with me till I moved into the operation theater. He was there, and I was very fortunate. At that point, I realized only in adversity you see who's close to you. My best friends, a few of my best friends showed up. They were always there. Few of my classmates, some of my Viscom classmates from Noida, they came home. They visited me previously. They had spent a lot of time with me. All this was just my positive reinforcement. I kept telling myself, yes, I will walk out of this, and I will walk out of this uh, in a much stronger way when I walk out. And yeah, post surgery, life was slightly confusing, different for the first few months. First 10 days, I was under complete isolation. I think this quarantine is something which you people are just seeing now. I have seen it back, and trust me, I think this quarantine is nothing. My quarantine was completely different. I was staying all alone in a room, and I can't meet anybody outside. So that went on for close to 6 months for me. So hopefully, I think we'll get out of our quarantine much faster. So yeah, so 6 months of nothing, and in the 6 months, I just thought, what am I missing? What else can I do in life? Are there things which keep my mind moving? Can I think of something positive? Can I start doing things which I would have missed all along? I started to use my time in a more positive way. I started thinking of stuff which I would have not done otherwise. So I started cooking on my own. I started baking. Baking became a big hobby for me. It's a big stress buster. Till date, I bake. That has become one of the biggest passions for me right now. I still keep baking all the time. I Since I just baked and I used to bake for friends, friends started ordering from me, and I had to probably create a brand where they keep ordering from me regularly. So we've gone to that level. So as I said, whenever you have a downtime, now you have a lot of downtime, and I would suggest that you see how you can put your other talents and hobbies to use, what you would have otherwise not tried to do. I think this is the best possible time for you to start doing it, thinking about it, putting it into. There's nothing wrong that you will fail. Just go ahead, use your passion. Try and do what you can right now. This is the best possible time to think of all this. And yeah, so that is something I kept myself occupied with. Trust me, I didn't have TV in my room for that time, so whatever I could, I just kept reading. I kept writing. I uh, I wanted to dabble with, uh, say, probably a stand-up comedy or something. So I used to think of a lot of weird things. I used to write it down. I used to listen to a lot of music. Then always these were the things what I could do inside. Back of the mind, I always used to think, when will I get out? Will I be able to do a lot of things when I get out? Or am I going to have a lot of restrictions? But all through this, only one thing I had in mind, I was mentally really, really strong. And I said, come what may, I will get out, I will do a certain things. So my doctor clearly told me, see Daniel, you can probably go just for walking. You may walk for say 2 or 3 kilometers maximum. Uh, Cycling, when I asked him, he said, very unlikely that you may cycle. Post surgery, very unlikely that you may even start cycling. Maybe at the max 1 or 2 kilometers is what I think you will. So that was the position which I had, and I had to think how will I deal with this. So I always used to sit and think during this time: can I deal with this? I have a problem. What is the solution? How do I overcome the problem? These were the things which I used to always keep thinking, and thankfully for me, I have a lot of time to think. So it was not like suddenly I decided, okay, I'm going to write tomorrow. I'm just going to go out and do it. No, I had a lot of time to think, and yeah, I had the lovely people around me, the wonderful friends, a lot of positive people around me. So I used to keep bouncing off ideas with them. I used to keep talking to them, and every time I spoke to them, I was only they were like they were also feeling the vibe from me. They felt, yeah, you're positive. I think things will work out. The moment you come out, you'll be normal. So I kept at it. I didn't want to get back to a mindset where I think, no, I'll not be able to do this. So for me, at all points in time, it was I am going to achieve something. I've set out to do something, and this is my second chance at life. And when I do get a second chance at life, I want to make it to the fullest. So I did have a bucket list as well. I prepared a bucket list and kept. The first thing on the list for me was somehow every day I wanted to put a smile on someone's face. Uh, I used Facebook for that. I use it a lot. I didn't care whether I get likes or not. It's just that our world is so serious these days. So the best thing that I could do is I could just make someone smile when they get up in the morning. So I used to post some jokes, memes, or whatever I could. And then people I started seeing, they were, I was not bothered about the likes at the time. So I used to keep posting regularly. And one point in time, after say 2 or 3 years, I started seeing people may say, you're the one who posts this, right? I said, yes, I do. Right. So, no, I like what you're doing. I like what you're posting. I mean, we are in times which are so troubled, and still in the morning I get to see this and I have a smile. And yeah, after 3 years, yes, I realized it was a good thing to do. At least you are the reason why someone gets to smile in the morning, because we are all so tensed. We just keep end up arguing on Facebook. We keep fighting over different causes, which at times are so trivial. So my takeaway from that is I do not want to get into an argument on Facebook. All I can do is if I see someone, if you can have an educated discussion, we do that. Else, we just stay as friends. I keep my religion in my four doors. I keep my politics within my four walls. That's it. I do not want to have that kind of a discussion with anyone, and I respect them for what they have. That's about it. Let's not argue on Facebook first. So that's the thought there. And as I said, post surgery, what happened was I bought a cycle much before my surgery. It was like it was a funny accident which happened. My brother, who's a runner, said he wanted to get into cycling, so he called me one day and said, "There's a store near your house. Can we go pick up a cycle?" I said, "Yeah, let's go." So I went with him, and he was there, and I was on the phone, and he said, "Do you want to buy a cycle? We buy two cycles together. We get a discount." I was like, "Yeah, but why not? It's a cycle. How much is it going to cost?" Let's go ahead with it. And then when the bill came, I was shocked. I asked him how much is it, and then he told me. He told me, yeah, it's about 30,000. My previous cycle. He said it's about 30,000, and I was like, I didn't have a choice. I bought it because I told him I'm buying it. I bought it, and yeah, it was just 2 days that I managed to hide the bill. After 2 days, my wife, who was cleaning the room, happened to find the bill, and yeah, she told me I could have bought her a scooty instead of the cycle. And because I bought it, I started riding it, and I enjoyed it so much because one, cycling was like it gives me a freedom. It gives me a certain, I just love the air hitting your face in the early morning when you're just riding. You get a lot of freedom, get a lot of time to think when you're riding. If you ride alone, you're always on your own. You get your me time. You get to think what you want. There's a lot of clarity when you do it early morning. So I started loving it. I started riding alone. Then I started joining cycling groups. And the doctor who told me that I may not ride more than 2 kilometers, I wanted to just check how much I can do. I started going to 5. It went to 10. It went to 15. And think I was operated in March 2015. I think by somewhere close to August or September 2015, I did about 100 kilometers. That's the first 100-kilometer ride which I did, from which I took great confidence from that, and I started thinking, okay, now that we've done this, let's keep moving ahead. Let's just have normal rides. Let's keep riding 50s and 100s where possible. It is not beyond my reach because I mentally I was very strong. I believe that I can achieve it, so I kept doing it. And once we get to that space in mind, I don't think anyone can stop you from doing anything. I think you will be the only one who believes whether you can do it or not do it. So for me, I since I was always in that frame of mind, I like, let's try it. Unless we try, we'll never know whether we will fail or not. So I was quite confident, and I kept achieving it regularly, and it became a great passion. There was something whenever it was I wanted to have a stress buster. This became the go-to thing for me to do, and that's when after say 2016 end, I decided to change my cycle. Same thing, I went to a cycling store again, but this time I decided to inform my house. From the store, I just called them and told them, hey, I'm picking up a bike. And this time I didn't have to tell them a different price, that I didn't have to cheat them and tell them it is a low price one. I told them the original price, for which they were like, did you buy it or not? I said, yes, I picked up the bike. And they understood my passion after that point, and they said, yeah, go ahead. From there, my cycling journey was slightly different. I saw another friend. He's been a big inspiration for me. That guy actually he had a heart attack. From that, he underwent an angioplasty, post which he completed a 200-kilometer ride. In cycling, we call something a randonneering. Randonneering is long distance cycling. Uh, any long distance cyclist. So we are given a certain time to do these long distances. We get the medals from France. There is an Audax club which sends us the medals. So this friend has done the 200, and there was an article about him which said post his heart attack and his angioplasty, he has done this. When I saw that, I read that and said, great, I mean, he has done it. So what's my reason? I mean, why shouldn't I try this? And I was quite confident that with the kind of riding that I was doing, I was pretty confident that I can do it. And I decided to start training for it. And I think the same year, post my surgery, I think in December, I think about December 2015, that's when I completed my 200. And I had a lot of friends. I made a lot of friends when I was riding there. And till date, they are some of my closest friends in cycling. And when I completed it, it took about, say, 13 and a half hours. That's the allotted time they give. I just finished a few minutes before the allotted time. It was a great experience doing this. I mean, for one, I was happy that yes, you break the glass ceiling. You believe that when people say that you cannot do it, you do it, and you tell yourself, yes, you can do it. You just have to apply your mind to it. If you think you can't do it, you can't do it. But then, if you decide you can do it, you will go for it. And that's my mindset. And I was very happy when I did it. And I thought, why not try a little bit more? And then I did a 300. The 300 we are given about say a 20 hours time. Then you take rest, you sleep, eat everything within that 20 hours, and then you complete the ride. Again, that ride, since we were in good form, I was riding with a few of my friends, we managed to finish it, say, in 16 and a half hours. That was good. I thought, why not do the 400? The 400 is somewhere we are given about 27 hours to complete it. Yeah, I think just about a half an hour before the time, I managed to finish that. And then the next one is a 600. You do the 600, then you're called a super randomer. Otherwise, you're called a randomer for just finishing the 200 or 300. So I ended up, I thought I'll do the 600, but then my doctor said, no, don't do it. See, one thing what happens is the doctors are very positive. They also don't want you to take a chance of hurting yourself. And he was telling me on that front. Also, my conversations with my doctor was, I was telling him how cycling is. because he was not used to the kind of cycling that I was doing. So our conversations were generally from a doctor patient. It became more of him telling me his point of view, me explaining what this is. So I started explaining to him, and he was impressed. He saw some of my medals, and his daughter took up cycling post this. She was inspired. She took up cycling. She's cycling in, I think, somewhere in Coimbatore. She's also cycling. And so this is what I was told. And then my doctor said, see, for the 600, it takes typically about 40 hours. So he was not very convinced. He said, no, no, don't do it now. And I have another friend who cycles. He's a doctor, a very senior gentleman. He also told me, don't do it right now, Daniel. I mean, give it some more time. I know you can do it, but let's not do it because it was really hot. It was summer, peak summer. And he said, don't get dehydrated. Don't do it now. And yeah, I put it on hold, but otherwise I kept cycling. I kept doing my 200s regularly. It became a regular affair for me. I kept cycling 200s. Every season, we have a season split into two. I would ensure that I participate regularly because for me, this randoneering is where I met a lot of people. And I enjoy meeting people. And this is where we made good friends. And still keep in touch with all of them. So wonderful feeling to keep meeting these people. And when you start riding there, it's all a it's a different place to be. It's a wonderful feeling that you get. And so some of my takeaways from what I've seen, how I've managed to overcome is one. I realize that health is always not a given. It's not a given. We always tend to take it for granted. What we always think is, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. My health is good. I don't have to take too much care about it. I can do whatever I want it. Because I see a lot of young people there. I mean, at your age, I think probably you will think it's okay. I can I can push my body as much as I want. Probably at this point, nothing might happen, but you might do the damage for this at a much later stage. So it's best that you treat your body properly, uh, get into some form of sport. One, the sport gives you a lot of discipline, and it also keeps you fit, which is very important. Right now, I think we indulge in a lot of, I think there's a lot of drinking, a lot of things happening. I would suggest everything in moderation is great, but please be active. Please get into some kind of an activity which will keep you healthy, which will ensure that your bones, muscles, everything is fit, and that you don't start feeling the pain of whatever I went through at a much later stage, because I think I didn't take good care of myself at my earlier days. So I think this is really brilliant. So please do that. And the other thing that we always tend to do is at a young age, we all start chasing for things we don't have. We all think, yes, money is everything. I have to chase fame. I have to start growing. And I think that's good motivation to have. But I would also think, see, I went chasing for a lot of things, and I just didn't take care of my health. At that point, I just realized, yes, I mean, money is there, money will come. But what is most important for us is to take care of your health. Be thankful for whatever we have. I mean, nobody is going to judge you by what car you drive. Nobody is going to judge you by what you have. I mean, by you looking for your material possessions. Rather, I think it's best that your health is important. You sleep peacefully. The lesser debts you have in life, I think that will keep you happy. So those are my important takeaways from that. And at all points, if you have to be positive, hang around with more positive people. Hang around with people who challenge you. Pe- you, of course, you have your convictions, but then you should be able to bounce off your thoughts with people. They should be able to challenge you, push you to do something. Keep interacting with such people, which is very important. See, when I believed I could achieve something, I used to think, why don't I try and do something with somebody else? Why don't I ride with someone who's a stronger rider? Because only then I will believe that I will also be able to keep up with them. I'll be able to challenge them. I'll be able to ride along with them, so that I improve. I improve myself. So that is always the thought. So it is good that you always join someone who is much better than you. Try and learn as much as you can from them. Challenge yourself. That is important. And for me, the most important thing for me was I always try not to limit my capability. I don't say no, you can't do it, and I don't think you can just stop with something. I would always think, why don't I try? It's okay to fail, but let me try. If I don't try, I'm going to live with a lot of regret that I never even attempted this. A simple example I'll give you is I always wanted to do the 600. I was not sure whether I could do it because my doctor said you'll not know. But uh, a couple of months ago, when I met my doctor and I did a 400, I finished a 400 and I was talking to my doctor. And he was asking me, see, here only in India, we've been telling people to limit your kind of activities post a transplant. So he just simply just asked me, what are you thinking of doing? I told him, in not so many words, I told him I'm trying to go a little bit beyond the 400. So all that I did is to overcome it. I know I'm a little anemic post surgery. Yes, I get anemic at times. My blood count is less. I have to do twice the work to catch up with the normal riders who are riding. So I take I take injections for that. I took injections before the ride, and I told him this is what I want to do. He said, "Yeah, you should not have a problem unless you are too dehydrated. Don't worry." So because I always had doubts because he was saying you may not be able to do it, I set out to do a 600. And when I reached about 510, I decided to stop with that. I decided to stop at 510 because I knew what, I mean, 600 is not far away from there. I was way too sleepy, but then I knew this is not beyond me. So do not do not ever think that, don't say this is a glass ceiling. Nobody can achieve beyond this because your records are meant to be broken. People are always trying to break records, and I think you should also try to say, this is not for me. This can you, unless you put your mind to it, things will not happen. So I think that is important. This is Oh yes. See a question: how do you manage work and your personal goals, especially cycling? A day starts early, so cycling is the best thing to do about cycling is you start early so that you wind up by say 7:30. Beyond that, it's difficult to cycle anywhere in the city. So we try and start by say mostly sometimes at 4:30, 5 o'clock we start. We ride we ride till about say 7, stop for coffee, meet all the friends there and cycling. Then try and get back home by 7:30. This is on the weekdays. Baking or something is more of a stress buster. I started mixing the cake, though my frustration, I started baking once. It's more like I enjoyed whipping the cake batter. The more frustrated I was, the batter turned out better. So that was a fun thing which I kept doing, and then the cakes were getting better and better. I baked so much, so I had to give it to somebody. So I kept asking my friends, "Would you want to try? Would you want to try?" And they liked it. And I mean, it is a passion. And then I said, "Okay, let me do it only on weekends," and it became a fun thing to do on weekends. I don't have a TV at home, so these are things which constantly I want to check out a new flavor. I'll try something else different in a cake. I'm bored. Few of our friends, we do some exploratory rides. There are different places in Chennai. We just keep trying different places. Saturdays, then we stop for a breakfast ride. We do all that. It's a social thing for us, cycling. So it's a fun thing for us to do. This was my inspiration. Yeah, see, inspiration for me, see, for I think for every child, their parent is the biggest inspiration. For me, my father at a very early age, I saw something which really changed the way I started thinking because when I was about say 9 or 10 years old, my father used to work in Steel Authority of India. Uh, it was a few days before one of the Diwali festivals. He worked in the port. My father was a very sincere man, and I saw a big van coming up to my house. Since he worked in the port, there were some big boxes and all which came, and people are trying to bribe him. I was standing at the door with him. He chased them away. He said, "Don't ever try bribing me again." He chased them out, and I think that became a big example for me. That for I think for anyone, I think the parent becomes the biggest inspiration. He was the biggest inspiration. And then when it came to cycling, so many of my friends, I kept seeing so many of my friends, and from everyone, I started learning a lot of things. You get inspired. Like I told you, I have a good friend, Prasan. Seeing him finish the 200 post, uh, he had a heart attack. Was that he had the determination. Right now, if you see him, nobody can even say that he had a heart attack because he's become like a bodybuilder. He's become a macho guy. He's a fitness trainer for us. So he is one of the biggest inspirations. And how can we identify positive people around us? Not necessarily. I mean, positive people are. It's just the vibe. I mean, people who believe certain things can happen. I mean, they just don't want to give up easily. Those are the positive people. See, I keep interacting with a lot of people. When you meet them, someone who does not want to give up, someone who is in the worst of situations still, doesn't lose his head. There are situations here. As of now, there are so many times where you get frustrated and all that. But then you tend to go on. You try to figure out ways how you make things happen. And for everyone, you will have a lot of positive people around you. It's just that you keep identifying them with different traits that they show. And the best thing for anyone to do is please pick some hobby. Pick some hobby. Try and do things. Don't ever have regrets later in life that yes, I couldn't do this. I should have done this back in my younger days. Uh, so please do it. Please do that. Please start doing that. Any hobby, for all you know, one of my hobbies with the baking, it has become a passion, and I don't know, it could become a business venture as well. So for all you know, start doing something. Put your hobby to great use. I mean, I know it's good that you're sitting there, you have Netflix, and you're simply watching Netflix because most of us at this club, we can always give that thing, I'm watching movies and try to get ideas. No, there are so many other things you can try and do. Start doing that. So, yeah, I'm open to any questions that you have. This is my ideas as such. Any other questions that you have, fire away. Can we make it interactive? Is there anything that you want to ask? Is your role not? Rohit, as I said, my role model has always been my father. You don't have to necessarily look up for Sachin Tendulkar or for some movie hero to be a role model. I think your role models are just all around us. I mean, people around you, you just see the smallest things that they do. There'll be something which inspires you. I think they are the biggest role models that you can have. Uh, something might have inspired some of my friends to start teaching. So they've taken up teaching. We've had some good professors. Probably they would have inspired someone to do it. I personally feel people I interact with, my bosses, a lot of my bosses have been very good inspirations and very good role models. You see them and then you want to probably be a better boss like them. Uh, you want to be a friendly boss. You want to handle things in a different way. Anything else? Jayaprakash is asking, is cycling safe in Indian roads? Indian roads, as you know, Indian roads are generally, they're okay. They're not the safest, but once you know what are the limitations there, I think we should think about how we overcome the limitations. Uh, there's always a 50% chance of something not going right. in anything you do. So you can't be saying that since it's not safe, I'm not going to try and do something. See, I've been cycling from say 2014. So far, yes, I would have had one or two accidents, some minor mistakes. So I'm still back to cycling. I mean, I like what I do, and you'll only have to figure out how you overcome it. Which roads do you pick to ride? You will always find something where you will always find problems, obstacles. The only thing that you can always think of doing is how do we overcome this? Do I pick a better road to ride? Do I pick a safer road to ride? Pick that, see what is helping you, and go ahead with that. Anyone discourages us, how to overcome? Well, personally, for me, as I told you, yes, my doctor was telling it with all good intention. He was telling me, don't, because one, he hasn't seen anyone do it. And I attempted because I had the willpower to do it. Most of the things I do is by sheer willpower. I believe I can do it, and if I'm convinced, I will have a shot at it. When I'm not convinced, I will try not to do it. But when I seriously have the conviction to do it, I will not stop myself. I will go all out and do it. So the best way to try to overcome it is, for me, as I said, unless you try and unless you do something, you will not know. So for me, I do not want to have that regret of not attempting something, not ending up doing something. So I'd rather do it and then see how it is. If I fail, I fail. I'm okay with that. I don't mind trying again. But at least I should have attempted it. So that's that. The simple thing which I always had at the back of my mind is I'm very, very bad at climbing hills when we cycle. I think I'll be the last one to generally climb up the hill. But then for me, one of my fellow riders, even his WhatsApp status says it is mandatory to finish the ride. So it's not about winning for me. When I start something, I would want to finish it. So I end up climbing the thing, and he once told me, you've got a lot of determination. And I told him, I mean, I'm here, I might as well do it. Why should I walk away from it? So that's it. If I can't rely on anyone else to motivate me, how do I motivate? See, why do you have to rely on someone to motivate you? I mean, see, motivation is, there's something called self motivation as well. You've set a certain goal and you want to achieve that goal. There's always a burning desire to get to that goal. So if you want to be a movie maker, you will have your plan how to get there. You will want to get there. So that I think is your primary motivation that you have. See, I need to get there. How do I get there? How do I overcome it is what we all stop at. Because once we try, if we fail, then we think, should I try this again? Or at times what happens is the thought that I'm going to fail. What if I fail? What if I fail? And we don't try it. So these are the things which stop us. I mean, the motivation is I'm saying it's okay to try. If you fail, you have learned what are the steps why you failed. You will at least attempt it in a different way. The next time you do it, you are better prepared. You've planned it better in a better way, and you will end up succeeding. If you do all the hard work, you put in all the hard yards, there is no way that you will not achieve it. So the motivation has to come from within. I am going to achieve it. I will find a way how to achieve. I will overcome my obstacles. Emmanuel, do you think having right mentors will work? Yes, Emmanuel. I mean, certain things that we don't know. As I said, it's always good to take help. So at times you don't have to be big-headed and say, no, I will not take help. I can manage on my own. When you need help, best to reach out. Best to reach out to the right people. And I think in an institution, you will probably have your faculty, you will have your alumni, you have a great network. Reach out to them. You can always get good mentors. Someone will guide you the right way. See, for me, when I started cycling, I just had to turn around and look at people who are already cycling. There were so many terms they were talking. I didn't know what it was. I started listening to them. I started understanding. I used to ask them questions. Same thing at work. When I don't know something, I used to reach out to people and ask them, what is this? What should I do differently? And once they guide you in the right way, see, nobody is going to handhold you all along. So once you get the right, you see the right people, learn as quickly as possible. Mentors are not going to be there all the time. take as much help as you can whenever you can. How do you spend your time? Are you asking me a question, or do you want to know how to spend your time for it? Ritika Chandran. But your time productive for me personally. See, I uh, I enjoy multitasking a lot. As I told you, I have an early start to the day. I wake up early, we cycle, come back, refresh, start working. Sometimes when someone insists I want a cake, urgently when I come back home for lunch, I bake, I go out, finish my work, come back, send the cake for delivery, and I go about doing my work. I try and figure out where I can slot in certain times. If I have to meet friends, yes, I finish the day. After that, I meet friends. I somehow try and make time for everything. So you know your priorities, you know what requires allocation of time. If you have a project to complete tomorrow, I think you will put your priorities there. Your friends can wait. If you have your exams, you have to prepare for it, you have a presentation to do, I think you'll put your priorities there first. And then the other things will fall back as per your priority list. Yeah, friends can wait, maybe they will wait next. Your movies can definitely wait for another day till you watch another movie. You can wait till you finish your work. So that's it. Lane system on roads and better encouragement for emission-free like cycling is the way of the life. Absolutely, Prakash, yes. That is what we're trying to work to. Yes, smart cities are working out a lot of. They are working out roads. They are trying to put bicycle lanes. Yes, it's going to take a lot of time for us, but we will get there eventually. I mean, somewhere we start, and I think somewhere the future generations may see something better. And yes, that's what I think. How do we identify if people around us are actually giving us the right advice? Uh, I'm sure you would check a lot of things with multiple people, right? I mean, see, I used to get a lot of advice on a lot of things. See, when we start some activity or something, there are 10 people who give you the advice. There are 10 people who keep. There are lots of people who keep giving you lots of advice, and then somewhere you will have a gut feeling who you listen to because you look at them as a mentor. You build a personal rapport with people. You will want to take their advice. As I said, take it and see. There's nothing wrong. If it works for you, it works. If it does not work, you know it didn't work. Then you know who else to take your advice from. So at times, I think you should try. Always have a leap of faith. Certain times, I listen to a lot of people. I use my gut feeling as well. A lot of conversations are built that way for me. I keep interacting with a lot of people. I listen to a lot of people. A lot of experienced people give their inputs. I take a lot of inputs, and then I see what will work for me. Because people will give you ideas. In the end, you are the one who's going to implement it. So see what is right, what will work for you. Use that. Not giving up comes out of self-motivation, but how do I decide when to? Imagine, see, not giving up. Yes, I totally agree. Your self-motivation, yes. How do I decide when to give up? Depends on what exactly you're getting into. To give up on something which is totally failed, if it's probably some kind of a business activity where it is not worth your time, you're just bleeding money, you're investing too much of money into it, and things are not working out right, you're making more and more losses. At times, we'll say cut your losses because sitting and wasting more money into that will not work because you know that this business plan has failed. Probably this is not the right thing to do. People tend to cut their losses. They walk away from it. That's when they decide to give it up. Uh, Same thing can happen when you're talking about moving around with certain people. If you think you've been taken around for a ride and you've been very nice, then you decide you wasted emotionally, you wasted a lot of your time. So at that point, you think probably this is not worth investing more time in it. You decide to walk away from it. meditation is needed or mind mapping. You see, that is something, whatever works for you. For me, personally, for me, I prefer a lot of me time. I want certain things, I sit alone and think. I just sit alone and think, and I believe that's the best thing which works for me. I do not know what works for you. If meditation works for you, brilliant. If you think your mind mapping works, brilliant. Because I just sit alone and think, what should I have done here? Did I do something wrong here? Can I make this right? And even when I cycle, sometimes I sit and think, if I'm not listening to music, yes, I think probably I should have done this. Maybe this would have worked better. So whenever you get your time to think, think, work on it. Yeah. Last two questions, is it? To tell me, I'm told I can take the last two questions. If there are any, please go ahead. Is that all? So yeah, I think we'll be done with the questions. So as I said, I think every for me, a lot of things which I believed I did work both ways, but then the learning is always there. I if I see something didn't work out, at least for me the belief is I tried. I tried it, and then probably it didn't work out. Probably let me work on it better. Let me try and improve on it. Be it my baking, I keep trying so many different varieties, but doesn't come out well. I keep trying again and again, and then I know one fine day it comes out beautifully. So there's a lot of work which goes behind that, and a lot of determination because my wife at times keeps asking, "Why don't you ever give up?" I tell her, if I don't like it, I probably might. But since I like what I'm doing, I want to see a perfect finish to it. I'm almost there. I've done all the right things. Somewhere something is missing. Let me get the combination right. And I do it. And when it tastes great, she's so happy. So that's why I tell her, see, I didn't give up. And she's quite happy when that happens. So for me, as one of the friends asked, yes, I have the self motivation when I don't want to give up. If it's cycling, the days I give up is if I'm extremely tired and if I'm not enjoying something, then probably I'll think, okay, I've had enough. I do not want to do it. So as I said, let me just quickly summarize a few things. It looks like there's just one quick question. If I decided something to do but not accepted by others, what would we do? Well, see, as I said, I do not know how cryptic your question is, but however, see, for me, in a very practical way, certain things, if it's told in the right spirit, when it said, if I'm going to harm myself in any way, I would not want to do it. So if it's a normal thing, if it's something which is achievable, yes, I would love to do it. I will put my heart and soul and try and do it. And to say, yes, see, this is possible. So that's it. So as I said, yeah, there are a few things in life which you have to be thankful for. One is at times you don't get a second chance at life. If you do get it, I believe I got it. I wanted to make the most of it, and I'm very thankful that I got it. One, I think my mother has done that again and again, so that's that. She supported me so much. My family, as I said, they are the biggest strength that you have. The positive people are your friends and family. Stay close, do the right things, and yeah, that's it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I had fun doing this. Hope most of you all enjoyed the interacting. Love the questions which came by. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, Leo. Thank you so much for bringing me on board. Thank you so much.